Meghan Markle just can't seem to escape the headlines, and now her efforts to revamp her public image have hit a major bump in the road.
It's, hard.
A recent Vanity Fair profile, which took a closer look at the Sussexes 5 years after stepping back from royal life, has reignited those old bullying allegations. Yep, we're talking about the claims that Meghan was so difficult to work with that some staff reportedly needed therapy to cope. Yikes. These accusations aren't exactly new. Remember back in 2020 before Meghan and Harry officially left their senior royal roles? Kensington Palace staff came forward with similar complaints, which even led Queen Elizabeth to launch an investigation into what was called bullying behavior toward royal aides. At the time, Harry and Meghan's team fiercely denied the claims, calling them just another attempt to attack Meghan's character.
There was such an obsession about anything in my world.
Fast forward to now, and Vanity Fair's sources seem to be echoing those old stories. The article quotes multiple sources who describe Meghan as warm and charming at first. But when things didn't go as planned, that warmth reportedly turned ice cold. One source shared a particularly harsh take, saying Meghan's behavior felt like something out of Mean Girls. Yikes. They described an atmosphere of constant tension, with Meghan allegedly undermining staff and talking behind their backs. Another ex-staffer who worked on media projects called their experience really awful, very painful. And here's the kicker. They claimed that if you weren't on Meghan's board, you were thrown to the wolves at any given moment.
I would never want someone else to feel that way.
Even her former Spotify team had stories to tell. One employee said they couldn't imagine Meghan being the type to bully palace aides until they worked with her. While there's no record of Meghan shouting, the same person pointed out, you don't have to yell to make someone feel like they're being yelled at. Subtle, yet scathing. And it doesn't end there. Reports suggest working with the Sussexes took such a toll on staff that some needed extended breaks, or even therapy, to recover. One team member on Meghan's Archetypes podcast reportedly left after just 3 episodes.
She's a very difficult employer, and there's plenty of evidence of people who have left her.
Adding to the controversy, Meghan has earned the nickname Duchess Difficult from her U.S. staff, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Insiders claim she's known for belittling people, ignoring advice, and being relentless. One source even described her as marching around like a dictator in high heels and reducing grown men to tears. Harry hasn't escaped criticism either. While described as charming, he's also called an enabler of Meghan's behavior. Their alleged management style has led to high staff turnover, with at least 18 employees leaving since their 2018 wedding, including Meghan's private secretary and global press secretary.
This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point.
But here's where it gets even messier. According to Vanity Fair, Meghan and Harry's neighbors in Montecito aren't exactly fans either. They've reportedly earned the nickname local villains, with complaints ranging from rising housing prices to parking issues near local trails, like the one Meghan was photographed hiking on, while Harry attended King Charles's coronation solo. And some locals apparently think Meghan's various business ventures, like her brand American Riviera Orchard, are more about cashing in than staying under the radar, which feels a bit at odds with their calls for privacy.
I know, it's a lot.
And then, there's the alleged behind-the-scenes tension between Meghan and Harry themselves. A recent joint interview on CBS Sunday Morning was supposed to focus on their philanthropy and online harm. But when the topic shifted to Meghan's past struggles with mental health, things reportedly took a turn. Royal expert Angela Levin claimed Meghan was furious afterward, reportedly screaming at producers for asking questions she hadn't expected. If true, it's another example of how tightly Meghan likes to control her narrative and how badly things can go when that control slips.
I can see you're uncomfortable with my even going there. Do you?
I understand why you are, though. I wasn't expecting it, but I understand why you are.
Meanwhile, Meghan's efforts to rebrand herself as a relatable California mom and wife aren't landing quite as she might have hoped. Her upcoming Netflix lifestyle show, With Love Meghan, is set to debut in March, but early buzz has been less than glowing, with critics calling it overly sweet and shallow. And with their Netflix deal nearing its end, some experts are speculating that the streaming giant might think twice about extending the partnership.
It's been complicated.
While the Sussexes have consistently denied the allegations, They've previously shared their side of the story in their Netflix docuseries, Harry and Meghan. In that documentary, they painted a very different picture, presenting themselves as victims of a royal system that was stacked against them and constantly under scrutiny. At the beginning of the docuseries, Markle admitted to having found the formality of being in the royal family surprising at first. Harry added that Meghan's first meeting with the Queen was quite a shock to the system. She recalled the moment she learned that she was going to meet the late Queen Elizabeth II.
Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty.
The couple was in the car, and they were on the way to the Royal Lodge for lunch, and Harry told her that his grandmother was going to be there. Meghan shared, "And I remember we were in the car driving up, and he's like, you know how to curtsy, right? And I just thought it was a joke." Harry recalled that when his family first met Meghan, they were all incredibly impressed with her. He said, "Some of them didn't quite know what to do with themselves, because I think they were surprised." However, he explained the fact that he was dating an American actress was probably what clouded their judgment more than anything else.
It's a full plate, but we're making it work.
He said that his family thought, "Oh, she's an American actress. This won't last." Meghan understood that her career as an actress was probably the biggest problem. She was aware of the idea of what Hollywood looks like from the UK perspective, and she felt like it was very easy for the royal family to typecast her into that same bracket. Before the couple had started dating around 2016, Harry explained that he was looking to find someone who would be willing and capable of being in a relationship with a royal family member. At the beginning of their relationship, the pair did their budding romance under the radar. Harry had learned from his previous relationships with Chelsea Davy and Cressida Bonas that they had suffered from the media's constant intrusion into their lives, and everything was quickly turned upside down by the publicity. At one point, he describes the relationship between the press and his previous partners as the hunter versus the prey. During the documentary, Harry opened up about how he has been affected by the intense media focus and recalls how he felt he had to perform in front of the cameras. Recalling how he coped with the death of his mother, the prince said, "When my mom died, we had two hats to wear. One was two grieving sons. The other royal hat was, show no emotion, get out there and meet the people and shake their hands." Prince Harry also made the sad admission that, "I don't have many early memories of my mom." During the documentary, Harry said that Meghan reminds him of his late mother in the way that she composes herself, despite the backlash she was continuously facing, gushing that his wife is caring and compassionate. Both Meghan and Harry were children of divorced parents, and there's no doubt that coming from a broken family has impacted how they have chosen to raise their two children.
It was just a choice, right? I think that very early on when we realized we were going to commit to each other, that we knew we had to invest the time and the energy and whatever it took to make that happen. And
the prince explained that the most important thing to them as parents is that they don't want to repeat the same mistake that their own parents made. Markle also opened up about her experience with racism following the publicity around her relationship with Harry. She explained, "Obviously now everyone is aware of my race because they made it such an issue when I went to the UK. Before then, I wasn't really treated like a black woman." While speaking about their children, Harry shared, "My son, my daughter, my children are mixed race, and I'm really proud of that." Meghan and Harry started filming the docuseries in 2020. Around the same time, they had decided to leave their roles as senior members of the royal family. However, members of the royal family declined to comment on the content that was depicted in the series. At first, the couple didn't know where to begin when it came to sharing their story. Harry admitted that it was really hard to look back on everything that had happened over the last few years, saying, "How did we end up here?" Markle explains why they decided to make the documentary, admitting that she feels that she has been misrepresented by the media. It seems as though everyone had an opinion of what was happening behind closed doors, but the truth is, no one knew the truth.
This is how it was covered for her. This is how it was covered for her. If you don't see the difference and understand why it's being reported that way, then I can't help you.
Following the media frenzy around their engagement in 2017, Markle admitted that she was still very much believing what she was being told, which was, it will pass, it will get better. She thought that once the news got old and they got married, the press would get bored and eventually things could cool off. She shared, "But truth be told, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how good I was, no matter what I did, They were still going to find a way to destroy me. Harry described his relationship with Meghan. This is a great love story, and the craziest thing is that I think this love story is only just getting started. He also explained that he knew his wife had sacrificed everything that she ever knew, including the freedom that she had to join him in his world. Pretty soon after that, he ended up sacrificing everything that he knew to join her in her world. Meghan shared, "We just did everything we could to be there for each other. We had to stay connected. We wouldn't have survived it if we weren't." Harry added, "I don't know how we did it, but we just did." The couple explained that their relationship had become a combination of car chases, anti-surveillance driving, and disguises. They were both aware that this wasn't a healthy way to start a relationship, but they did their best to approach it with as much humor as possible. Adding, "Whenever we saw each other, we would just give each other a massive hug and try and have as much of a normal life as possible." Leading up to their wedding day in May 2018, Meghan felt like fighting off the media's stories was like playing whack-a-mole. She explained that the press was pulling out people to create and plant the most salacious stories that they could, adding, "Then it started to get scary." The media storm seemed to only grow more malicious, and Harry admitted that members of the royal family didn't believe that Meghan should be protected by it. They didn't believe that she should receive any special treatment. He said that the only direction he was given from the palace was, "Don't say anything." Following part 2 of the couple's documentary airing, it's been alleged that Markle became this scapegoat for the palace. Meghan saw how it would play out. She explained that a story about someone in the family would pop up for a minute, and the immediate solution to make it go away would be to use Markle as a distraction. The final straw was when the press began to cover the breakdown of Meghan's relationship with her father. According to her lawyer, Afia, everything seemed to be nothing but a pool of negative, nasty coverage about her. Part 2 also covers Harry's regret over the way he handled Meghan's struggle with her mental health during the media frenzy. The couple opened up about her mental battle and suicidal thoughts, which she first publicly spoke about in her March 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview.
Look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time, and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry especially, but I knew that if I didn't say it, that I would do it, and I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
Meghan admitted that she thought, "It was like all of this will stop if I'm not here." And that was the scariest thing about it. It was such clear thinking. Markle opened up about her thoughts to take her own life for her mother. Everything felt like it was out of their control, and both Harry and Meghan's mother felt like there was nothing they could do to protect her from the media's constant harassment. Harry confessed, "I was devastated. I knew that she was struggling. We were both struggling, but I never thought that it would get to that stage. And the fact that it got to that stage, I felt angry and ashamed." He shared, "And looking back at it now, I hate myself for it. What she needed from me was so much more than I was able to give." So, Meghan and Harry have always portrayed themselves as compassionate and brave. But these new allegations change that narrative. Now, what do you think? Do you believe Meghan Markle is a bully?